All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome to the live broadcast. Um, I'm glad that we're able to sort out the network issue. So this is the Reach Summit, and to everyone who is joining in from everywhere across the world and whatever platform it is that you're connected from, welcome and thank you for joining us here. It's Chioma, and today we're going to be discussing managing the black tax and thriving nonetheless. Annie,
Okay, can everyone hear me clearly?
yes, yes, we can.
Fantastic. Okay, so my name is Annie T. Brendan. Annie helps avoid pronunciational homicide. Um, I am a visual creative professional. I work in animation, in film, in advertising, and I draw a lot. That's pretty much what keeps me busy from day to day. Expectations from today's session. Well, I hope to help someone gain a deeper level of understanding where this topic is concerned. Two, I hope to learn from other people's experiences and see how best to improve what I'm already doing, or find new ways of tackling this common issue or situation which we all are familiar with. And I hope to have a good time as well. So,
Awesome.
yeah, that's it from me.
So, thanks, Annie. Just to ask you, is that one of your work behind you?
Oh, it is. Yes, actually, it's a very. It's not one of the proudest things I've done. um, but yeah, that when very much wasn't happening, so
Awesome.
I
Okay.
can get that this way for everyone
Oh,
to see.
lovely, lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So let's hear from you, David. Tell us about you and how you're interested in this conversation. What keeps you busy? What are the audience looking forward to?
Right. First, I hope everybody can hear me. Yep. Okay. Right. So I'm David Kimondiu, and I'm based here in Nairobi. I'm the head of business development and research at Rich Technologies. Um, yes, and so thinking up every day about consumer informatics and that kind of thing. But when it comes to the topic, what I hope for is to share some of my experiences, also to benefit from other people's experiences and be able to build each other, even the audience. These are a very important topic, and I think managing black tax can go a long way into, creating or enabling one to succeed and thrive. But also, if it is not managed properly, it can be a pitfall to not achieving some of the goals that we want to achieve as young adults, as Africans. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, David. Laurie, let's hear from you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Lambert. I'm an associate professor of African and African American Studies at Fordham University. I am based in New York City, and I am originally from the Caribbean, grew up between Canada and Grenada. And so I actually work on Caribbean studies. That's what I teach. It's what I write and publish about. And so for today's conversation, I think it's just really helpful for us to have a forum where we can be aware that this is something that many of us are dealing with, no matter where we're positioned, whether we are, on the continent or in the Caribbean or in the diaspora, and that it's actually a really important part of how our communities function. So it's good for us to have this forum to think through the ways we're making contributions to our communities, but also, as both David and Ani said, to think about what some of the potential pitfalls are and how we can be mindful of those pitfalls.
Right. Brilliant. Thank you, Laurie. So to just cap off, my name is Chioma, and I'm a communications professional. And what keeps me busy is pretty much consuming and also disseminating narratives to influence my audience based on what it is I'm working on. And I'm also a first time mom as well. So that also keeps me busy as well, alongside being with my family. I live here in Nigeria. I know, thank you. I live here in Nigeria. And yes, that's just about it. I think I'm just really looking um, to get like different perspective from every one of us, and to also see, like we said, one of part of the objective that we're doing here today is to reframe, to see how we can reframe the concept of black tax, right? So let's see if we're able to succeed at that, and to also see how we can get people to understand that it's probably not something that we can escape from, that will leave us anytime soon. However, we need to find a way to thrive. Just like David said, as young African professionals, we need to find a way to thrive despite the reality of black tax living with us and not going anywhere anytime soon. And I think we'll just jump right into that conversation. I need to make a confession here. It was only a couple of years ago that I realized that the reality I was living actually had a name, and it was called black tax. I'm not sure even how I got to hear about that word or that definition. I think it was from a movie or from reading a novel or something. I'm really not sure. And in some way, when I found out that, oh, it has a name, I think a part of me was like, if it has a name, it means it's not something that is peculiar to just me or peculiar to just, like my locale. It means that there are other people whose reality is also this as well. And so I was really excited. I'm very excited to actually hear your experiences, given the fact that we have Laurie, our Caribbean sister, we have Annie, we have David, and it will just be interesting to hear all of your perspective and to see how we all fit into it and see how, despite it, we're all thriving and we're looking forward to maybe making some changes here and there. So, without further ado, why does this topic matter to you? Now, just to be sure that we have a seamless flow, we're going to take our responses in an alphabetical order with Annie, with David, and then with Laurie. Laurie, I'm sorry. We'll take it in that order. So if you do have a thought, we'll just go in that flow, just so that we have very little clashes. And then to our audience who are listening in, if you do have questions, if you do have feedback or anything you want to share with us, please leave that in the comment section. We have our moderators on the backstage who make sure that those questions come to us, and we'll do our best to address them as quickly and as detailed as we can. So yes, back to the question. What is black tax to you? Why does this topic matter? Is this something that one can escape? Is this something that we should even want to escape? And so yes, Annie, let's hear.
What is black tax? We know what black tax is. I guess the interesting thing about black tax is how dynamic it is. For some people, it's black and white. It's straight on. It's people closely related to you living off of your means, for whatever reasons, right? Because the reasons vary. But it's you having to hold a couple other people up while trying to hold yourself up as well. And it's one of those things that it's well, like Shama said, it's not unique to any one locale, but the contributing factors seem to be consistent across board. People from similar kinds of backgrounds having to face this experience. Um, it's important to be conscious of it because there's something JR said 3-4 years ago, which I haven't forgotten. He says you cannot grow or control what you can't measure. So it's very important to know how much black tax you're paying, to help you either pay it better or work towards not having to pay it eventually. And I don't think it's something to escape. I don't think it's something to want to run away from. I feel, well, my personal belief is if you build a sustainable system, with time, you ease the burden on yourself. I believe in spreading the load, if you like. So if you empower more people to stand, then you have less work to do yourself. So yeah, that's I guess that's my take on it.
Hi, David, and let's hear from you. I actually like that quote that you gave. I've written it down. That's like really, I think that's a very solid nugget there that JR had given to you, which you're passing to us. You cannot grow or control what you cannot measure. That's just really brilliant. It's really fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Annie. All right, David, let's hear from you.
Right. Really kind of just to add on to what Annie said, I think black tax is diverse, ranging from some of the expenditures that you kind of expect and probably need to think about and plan around to, sometimes going a little bit to maybe friends and colleagues and former classmates, and some of that tends to be a little bit maybe unplanned, sometimes unexpected. So I think on the aspect of it being diverse, that's a big one. And definitely, I do believe, just like Annie said, it's not something to run away from. And I'm sure we'll delve a little bit into that, but something more so to manage, because, like I said, there is some of that you expect, maybe some people that you need to support, and then there's an aspect of it that's not expected. So I think there has to be a balance between the two, but also, I think trying to manage it and expecting it and trying to manage it, I think can go a long way into enabling one to thrive in it. So I think that's the only thing I can add. Thank you.
So that's interesting, this idea that it might be preventing us from building a kind of generational wealth. I think one of the first things that's important to note is how little we actually talk about it sometimes. So, one of the things that I realized is that when I look at what my parents were doing in terms of who they had to help, and they were first generation to leave Grenada and go to Canada and being responsible for sponsoring parents and siblings. That was just the way that we just sort of grew up, that I just felt like, okay, there are folks that are going to come and live with us, and this person's going to help that person get a job, and then eventually this person can bring that person. So then when I started working and you start getting the phone call, this person needs that, or somebody needs a refrigerator, or whatever the case may be, and you start to realize, oh, this is now like part of my responsibility. But I think, if we'd had more conversations growing up about what was actually happening, then you can anticipate that this is going to be part of your experience. And so maybe it's just that part of what we need to change is to have an awareness that this is not necessarily something that's keeping us from achieving generational wealth, but that this is part of wealth building in our community. That as there's like Black feminists saying in the States, that lifting as you climb, you have to be lifting other people as you yourself are, climbing various professional ladders. And I think that that's just part of it. And one of the things I would say is that, as the other panelists have said, it's always with us. So one of the things I was struck with during the pandemic, which was, we know that the pandemic had adverse effects on people all over the world. Well, those calls never stopped coming, and the requests never stopped coming. And sometimes I felt like, wow, like nobody's been asking, like, how are you doing? Like, are you okay? Can you actually manage this? But the fact of the matter is, if I'm in North America and experiencing it as a cold, then somebody back home is experiencing it as pneumonia, right? So no matter how challenged I might feel that I am, they are actually experiencing a bigger challenge. And so it's important for me to just kind of keep that in mind as you're fielding those kinds of requests.